1 month before the wedding, Ryan decided to cheat. A friend asked, "Are you really going to do it with that little secretary? What about Ivy?" He said casually, "If I don't try other women before getting married, I won't be satisfied. Besides, Sophie is a good girl, she only wants me for the last month. I just know that if I miss her, I'll regret it for the rest of my life." As for Ivy, he added coldly and mockingly, "Isn't it much fairer than if I cheated after remarrying?" A month later, he came back full of joy. He said he loved me more than he thought and would never leave me again. I was very troubled. The fairness theory sounded good, but his brother wouldn't let me go back. With the wedding countdown at 45 days, Ryan didn't notice me sitting in the bar sofa behind him. A friend remarked, "You two went from school uniforms to wedding gowns, still each other's first love, and now you're getting married. It's not easy." Ryan took a casual sip of his drink, his voice flat and tinged with disdain. "Exactly because it's a first love, I find it so boring. Is this fair? I've never tried other women, how do I know it has to be her?" I felt a bit angry. Even though we'd had an argument over wedding details that day, he shouldn't vent his frustration with such hurtful words. Leo agreed, "Ryan, ease up on the harsh talk. Be careful not to regret it later." Ryan scoffed. "You all say Ivy is great and that I'll regret it, but even the best thing gets old after 10 years. Swallowing it makes me sick, but spitting it out feels wasteful." He was a bit drunk, muttering to himself. "Now I have to eat it for life, and wanting to try something different before the end is just human nature." My heart skipped a beat, like a bad omen. Leo fell into an eerie silence. After a long pause, he said, "Ryan, you're not really planning to agree to that last month before the wedding thing with your little secretary, are you? Cut it off, Ivy would be heartbroken if she knew." Instantly, I felt like I was plunged into an ice cellar, my whole body weak. 2 years ago, I stayed behind at Tingfeng while Ryan went to our newly established company, Taishin. And Sophie was the secretary he hired half a year ago. My last impression of her was from when Ryan complained about the new hire with connections, always asking him questions and being annoying. How would she know? She doesn't check my phone or my whereabouts. Even if I chat with Sophie right in front of her, she doesn't suspect a thing. Besides, what do you mean by cut it off? Have I even touched Sophie? Ryan, Ivy trusts you because she loves you. Love? Ryan swirled his glass, raising an eyebrow lightly. When I find her reporting annoying, she also says love and trust. Everyone sees how much Ivy loves you and wants to build a life with you. Yeah, so I agreed to marry her, trading my whole life to make you all happy. Isn't that enough? Look around, who can stay faithful to just one person from start to finish? Maybe not even Ivy herself could do it. Ryan, do you not love Ivy anymore? The question brought silence, and I held my breath waiting for an answer. Ivy is more like family to me. After all these years, I won't let any other man hurt her. As for love or not, why are you asking silly questions like Sophie, like some little girl? The implication was that he'd only answer her about love. I blinked back stinging tears, my heart aching intensely. We'd known each other for 5 years, been together for 5, going from nothing to being worth millions. Loving him was something I'd done for 10 years. Before he told me not to report my whereabouts, I hadn't even realized I was doing it, just instinctively sharing my life with him. I thought love gave us the confidence to trust each other. Leo hesitated, but Ryan, Sophie knows you have a fiancé and still clings to you. She's probably after your money, she's not a good person, you. Watch your mouth. If you can't show respect, get the hell out. Ryan's voice turned icy cold as he defended her. Sophie faces social pressure to be with me but tells me not to cheat because she doesn't want Ivy to get hurt. Setting aside my engagement, we eat, chat, and share our hearts like any normal couple. Why should she be judged by you? He spared no effort defending Sophie, not noticing Leo's increasingly awkward expression. Now that I'm getting married, Sophie has finally taken a brave step. She said she would leave, not ruin my family, she just wants this last month. Is that wrong? He said guiltily, she's a good girl, it's my fault for cruelly making her watch me marry someone else. That's so unfair to her. Fair? Is it fair to me? It seemed so. Because he gave up Sophie to spend his whole life with me, I was the one taking advantage. I seemed to understand why he was increasingly anxious and busy, even leaving in the middle of wedding gown fittings. And why his only requirement for the wedding was keeping it low-key. I got up dazedly and left, not wanting to hear more. The man who once promised to declare to the whole world that he would marry me had died in the past. Leo didn't dare target Sophie anymore but couldn't help advising, Ryan, what about Ivy? You nearly lost your life for her back then, have you really decided to let her go? Ryan fell silent for a moment, furrowed his brow, ruffled his hair, annoyed and puzzled. I didn't say I don't want her, but if I miss out on Sophie like this, I'll regret it. I just want to be with the person I like, why is it so hard? Ryan took a sip of wine and finally made up his mind. Let it be, I want to follow my heart once. Only after I come back will I willingly be loyal to Ivy, never betray her. Ryan, what if you don't come back? I will, he said firmly. Even if it happens, it's better than me cheating after marriage, it's fair to Ivy too. I stood at the door, the surrounding noise was deafening, but his words clearly reached my ears. Back home, I stayed alone for a long time. The invitation I designed myself still lay on the table. The employee group chat was buzzing with excitement because the wedding was approaching, and Tengfeng's stock price had risen again. My best friend sent a video, saying her bridesmaid dress looked stunning. Before hanging up, my mother said emotionally, Ivy, Mom is so happy you've found your happiness. Your grandmother's health has worsened these past 2 years, seeing you marry has become her final wish. Finally, Leo said, Ivy, tonight, go easy on Ryan, recently. Don't start a Cold War. Why did he want a Cold War with me? Exhausted, I collapsed onto the sofa. Crushing fatigue washed over me into numbness, too tired to even cry. At 2 a.m. Ryan pushed the door open. The room was dark, he paused briefly, then turned into the study. Like many married men I later knew, they cherished the car after work or the bathroom away from their wives. His heavy smell of alcohol and unexplained coldness hung in the air. If I misread the mood and pressed him then, his temper would likely flare. As he often did this month. We would argue, then fall into a Cold War, and finally, he would vanish as expected. After who knows how long, Ryan emerged from the room. But he still ignored me, almost deliberately provoking me to question and argue. The third time he passed, Ryan stopped in front of me. He furrowed his brow, his voice soft, Why aren't you sleeping? Tears slid down unexpectedly. The familiar caring tone felt hypocritical and painful. I looked at him, and you? What were you thinking about tonight? He sighed, what else? Thinking we shouldn't have argued today, and that I should listen to my wife about the wedding details. Ryan tapped my nose, coaxing me as usual, seeming flawless. I avoided his kiss, he didn't mind, just gently took my hand and led me back to the room. I watched his familiar back, feeling the warmth of his palm. I couldn't understand how he, once so good, had become like this. We have endured the most painful days, and neither of us gave up. The memories are too heavy, and settling them makes my heart ache deeply. In college, I was accused of plagiarism, blamed by everyone, cyberbullied, and self-doubt led to depression. At that time, Ryan, who was just a high school classmate, flew halfway across China to support me unconditionally, and was even harassed in real life by extreme netizens. After starting the business, he worked non-stop with the client for 30 hours without complaint, but when I was harassed a few times, he immediately threw the contract. Time has worn away the sharp edges of youth, and also made me smooth and cowardly. I worry about company instability, and greedily imagined countless times a stable life. I can't bear to give up the carefully prepared wedding, and I don't want my grandmother to have regrets. I have many reasons, but after all, I know the deepest reason is that I can't let go of him. Nor can I let go of myself in the 10-year memories who trusted him, the beautiful and brilliant me. I seem to be waiting for something? Waiting for him to turn back, or for me to give up hope. On a quiet night, I gently broke free from Ryan holding my hand. "Ryan, will we still get married?" His voice was sleepy. "Nonsense, of course we will, we promised to be together for a lifetime. But if you marry me while having someone else in your heart, that's unfair to me." The air froze, and I thought Ryan was considering my proposal. But how much I anticipated true love, Ryan couldn't not know. At the same time, Twitter popped up a recommendation. "You gave me fireworks all over the city, I ignore the world, go crazy with you once." That same afternoon, her Twitter updated. "Choosing between two, so conflicted, why can't I have both?" The photo was clearly true love and the one I received tonight. The fireworks outside hadn't finished. The top comment was from an account registered less than 6 months ago, using a couple profile picture. I remembered, I once jokingly asked Ryan if he wanted to do it too. He said, "What age are we? Don't be so childish." The new Hermes bag has been delivered to your home, as my compensation. Sophie Clark replied with a shy expression. Netizens follow-up comments flooded in. "Damn, the boss's girlfriend, still setting off fireworks downtown, how much is that fine gonna cost?" "Upstairs doesn't get it, the boss bought Sophie a mansion downtown, Sophie can see the most beautiful view right from home." I looked out the window, but the stunning spectacle was partially blocked by trees and skyscrapers. Another netizen at Sophie, "Are you spending Valentine's Day with him?" "Not yet, he's swamped. He can only squeeze in a quick video call with me." A screenshot hid the man's face, but it was clearly Ryan who had just dined with me. But he promised that after handling some people, he'd come to me. Fans caught on instantly. "Oh, it's that persistent admirer again. So gross, knowing he has a girlfriend and still trying to break them up with family money. I hope that other woman goes bankrupt soon." Countless vicious comments, even wishing death on me. The illusion shattered, rage burned away my reason, leaving only my disheveled self. "He won't go to you." Before I knew it, I'd sent that text. Clueless netizens mocked me as a delusional fangirl cracking under pressure. But Sophie, as an insider, sharply sensed who I was. She sent me a private message. "I felt sorry for you at first and wanted Ryan to keep you company too. But now, I won't allow it." When the fireworks ended completely, Ryan returned. He was upbeat. "So, how do you like this gift? Why set it off downtown? The view's terrible." "Oh." He flattened his lips, annoyed at my ingratitude. "Where were you earlier? On a call with someone?" Ryan sliced a piece of beef, unexpectedly harsh. "Do I have to be under your watch every second, reporting every move to you? I just want honesty." "Well, I just want a little trust." A standoff began, the initial romantic vibe vanishing entirely. The phone rang, and Ryan answered openly. I couldn't make out details but faintly heard a girl sobbing. Ryan's brow furrowed tighter, he hung up and grabbed his coat. Company issue, gotta check it out. I scoffed, thought Sophie was crying and you were rushing to comfort her. His step halted. I'm not deaf, Ryan. Ryan turned back, utterly weary, impatience etched on his face. Sophie fell and got hurt at home. I just wanted to take her to the hospital, didn't tell you to avoid this exact misunderstanding. You could call 911, notify her parents, get the building manager. Doing your duty would mean sending your assistant at most. With your nature, your status, when did you turn so charitable? Especially on Valentine's night, in this last month before our wedding when he'd vowed not to abandon me. At this impasse, the tension hung thick. Ryan moved, opened the door, his voice colder than the winter night. Look how terrifying you are now, cold, aggressive, utterly heartless. I stared at his unyielding back. If you go, our wedding's off. Sophie's worked under me for half a year, I'm handling this. The clock struck 12. The countdown stopped at 30 days. Ryan, I've decided to give up on you. Having reached this position today, no one around me dares to speak loudly to me anymore. It's been a long time since I last felt this humiliated. Not until today, or perhaps earlier, when I found out he was tangled up with Sophie and still gave him a chance. Ridiculously, I chose to invite disgrace upon myself. My thoughts were interrupted by the ringtone of an unknown number, but the caller clearly didn't intend to speak to me. Ryan, I didn't actually fall, you don't need to come over, it was Sophie. Why lie? Through the phone lines, another voice flowed with static, it was Ryan. Go back and keep her company today, don't come anymore, ever. I'm resigning tomorrow, so I won't be in your sight again, and it'll save the company from people always calling me the homewrecker mistress. Who dares to insult you? Make a list, I'll have HR fire them tomorrow. Ryan's flippant attitude toward employees grated on my nerves. He was actually disregarding employees' livelihoods and the company's growth just to please someone. But Sophie was coaxed into happiness, her tone haughty, then you're not going back? Aren't you afraid she'll get angry? Both were somewhat pleased at that moment. What's this act today? Didn't I promise to spend a month with you? The little fox must be overjoyed. Who told you to only pay attention to your wife lately? You fired me without a word, and these past few days you've tossed me aside like I'm nothing. Ryan coaxed gently, such a little temper, you're the one who wants to be boss now, isn't the $30 million investment compensation enough? Besides, when have I ever abandoned you? Haven't we video called every day? Tonight was just meant as a final time with her, and I'd have come to you tomorrow even if you hadn't called. I just didn't expect Ivy, whom I spoiled rotten, to turn so cold-hearted and emotionless, disappointing. Then you can't go back before the wedding, you belong only to me. Yeah, not going back, only yours. Sophie said coyly, I have a gift for you tonight, oh, and remember to buy a box of Durex when you come upstairs. A cold, harsh wind pierced through my heart. As the guillotine fell, I heard Ryan murmur a low, husky After hanging up the call, Sophie couldn't contain her glee toward me. I actually advised him to spend tonight with you too, but since you deliberately provoked me, now you see the gap between us, right? But don't be sad, once I'm done with him, I'll return your husband to you. She bragged triumphantly, the industry hyped you two up like some mythical couple, thought you were so amazing, but it only took me half a year to win him over. But Ryan is a pretty good boyfriend, you know? He was all tough at first, but he melted as soon as I cried. He got others to do my work for me, comforted me when I spilled coffee on him, and when I refused to commit, he felt guilty as hell. The gifts piled up so high at my place they're overflowing. Actually, big sis, you should thank me. I trained up this clueless, clueless straight guy husband of yours who doesn't even know bags. Sophie kept boasting about how good Ryan was to her while provoking me non-stop. She condescendingly advised me, Ivy, as fellow women, I'm telling you this out of pity. We women shouldn't marry husbands who betray us. Are you afraid I'll forgive Ryan? I interrupted her calmly. Sophie paused briefly, then sneered. Ivy, I thought I was like you older women, content to grovel for a man. Us alpha females never give up a whole forest for any simp. Oh really? Alpha female. Then I'll send your entire rant to Ryan. How's that sound? You wouldn't dare. Sophie snapped instantly. Frantic and furious, she kept demanding, how could you record this? How are you so shameless? You investigated me, didn't you? Knew I valued this relationship, thought I'd stay quiet even after finding out about you, too scared to confront Ryan, you thought you had me under control. No, I didn't. You didn't send the recording to him, did you? But you're also afraid I might just marry Ryan silently, so you couldn't help but play the fool in front of me. Sophie exploded in rage, screaming hoarsely. I did not. I'm asking if you really recorded it. Listening to her ragged breaths, I called her, Sophie. Say you're a shameless lowlife, a brainless lunatic. Don't even think, repeat. Sophie sensed an indescribable menace in those two calm words, as if not complying would bring regret. After a few moments of silence, she gritted her teeth. I'm a shameless scum, a lunatic with shit for brains. Didn't tell you to stop. The phone then transmitted a woman's self-degrading mutters through clenched teeth. You claim not to care, yet fear Ryan seeing your true colors? Are you restless because Ryan was supposed to dump me, not play this charade of a final month with you? Maybe in Sophie's eyes, being surrounded by men makes you queen bee, stealing their affection gives you a thrill. But I'm different. I'm a businesswoman. Love brings joy, betrayal brings pain, all perfectly human. Human feelings aren't valuable currency, and I refuse bad investments. Unfortunately, you provoked me. Bad news, I can afford to indulge emotions. Worse news, Miss Clark can't. Hence, despite 6 months of scheming, you still tremble at one sentence. Observing the leftover dishes, I chuckled dryly. But here's good news. Congratulations on achieving your goal. Silence followed as I waited for Sophie's retort. Finally, she spoke, please don't send the recording to Ryan. Guess. The morning after the night rain, I returned to work. My phone displayed messages from Ryan. Sophie's condition is serious. That's why I stayed last night. Stop being petty. I've nothing to hide, I just want a kind wife. Flying out for business. Don't contact me until you've reflected. His tone shifted abruptly at 5 a.m. I know you're angry. I promise, I'll return before the wedding and never leave you after. Ivy, I love you. This sudden affection felt filthy, nauseating. Simultaneously, a hand-holding photo arrived from Sophie. I didn't reply. Emboldened by my silence, she sent it, then retracted it moments later. My assistant reported, private investigators confirmed they're en route to Ireland via flight. PR, legal, and marketing estimate 1 week for a wedding cancellation risk mitigation plan. Additionally, the Taishin merger task force is compiling evidence of Sophie's project failures during her tenure. Ryan has unjustly terminated numerous employees recently. Both will face accountability post-acquisition. 2 dismissed yesterday were key obstacles. The merger timeline shortened from 6 weeks to 4. Coincidentally, or ironically, that matched my final month. Had Ryan stayed, the battle might have been fair. Had he not gambled away his kingdom for Sophie, his return might not have meant utter defeat. Yet he destroyed everything himself. People pay for their choices. I hadn't planned to crush Ryan completely. Our companies were like children of divorced parents, until I heard him casually fire staff over Sophie's whims. In that moment, Ryan forfeited his right to lead. Director Ivy, our new subsidiary, faces coordinated attacks. Partners demand contract cancellations, negotiations are failing. I stopped twirling my pen, studying Ethan's profile on my screen. I'll handle this personally. Ethan, a notoriously tough negotiator. At our level, everyone wears polished masks of congeniality. Yet he openly scorns whom he pleases, like a husky trampling corporate decorum. Worse, his background and skills make him unbeatable. Perhaps he's authentic, but I only deal with rule-abiding players. Ryan, however, eagerly partnered with him. After the company's 3 formal invitations were rejected by Ethan, I suppressed my anger and dialed an unfamiliar number. Actually, at first, I thought this number belonged to Leo. Until later, I gradually felt something was off and had someone investigate. Hello. A man's deep, magnetic, lazy voice came through the phone into my eardrum. I put on a polished professional attitude. Ethan, sorry to bother you, I'm the head of Taishin Technology. Do you have time to discuss in detail about your withdrawal of cooperation? There was a pause on the other end, and he said casually, Who are you? Ethan, I'm Ivy. Oh. He seemed to suddenly realize, Ivy? Yes, it's me. The head of Taishin Technology? Yes, that's me. Hearing his tone soften slightly, as if he even chuckled a couple of times, I sensed an opportunity. No deal. Click. The call ended. After being strung along by Ethan for days without a proper conversation, I went straight to his place to confront him. The man lounged lazily against the red Ferrari seat, his handsome, roguish face smirking playfully. Wanna talk? Then get in. I was about to raise my hand to refuse, but he immediately ducked his head and started to drive off. Only when the seatbelt clicked did I belatedly wonder what I was doing. Ethan, where are we going? He slipped on the sunglasses perched on his head and grinned mysteriously. Tisk, not sure now, but I can tell you, I was originally heading downstairs to toss the trash. The next second, a fierce acceleration slammed me back, scattering all thoughts. Early summer, the car raced down an empty road, surrounded by beautiful scenery. I kept steering the conversation toward cooperation, but Ethan kept joking around. My patience nearly vanished, and I finally lost the will to continue. Ethan shot me a glance, annoyed. You dare to get angry? I was stunned. You're practically reaching into my pocket to steal money, and I can't be mad? I forced a smile. Ethan, you're kidding. I don't know how Taishin offended you. Why hurt us both? You're doing this for Taishin? He said ambiguously. I think you're just a sucker, still worrying about it even now. I looked out the window. If I don't care about the company, who'd want to be a fool in front of you? They say women are made of water, and looking at you, your brain's clearly full of it. Yeah, full enough to water you, this idiot. Can't you live without it? Don't know, but mess with it, and you'll definitely regret it. I really don't get it. I thought you were sharp, even daring to trick me. I turned my gaze back to him. I don't work with Ethan, but that doesn't mean I won't compete. 4 years ago, there was a project everyone, including the higher-ups, assumed would go to Ethan. Ryan also advised me not to bother, not that it was favoritism, but his skills, abilities, and finances were unmatched. No one could outbid him. Yet I quietly pulled off a big move, catching him off guard. Is he targeting me because he's held a grudge since then? Ethan saw my silence and grew impatient. Are you still thinking about him? not only dodging the topic but pushing aggressively. I snapped, yes, I'm thinking about it, my mind's full of it, what are you gonna do about it? After shouting, I slowly sobered up and remembered my life motto, don't argue with the person holding the steering wheel. I turned my head and sure enough, saw Ethan with a cold, menacing gaze, exuding an aura of not to be messed with. He was staring intently at the road, his voice hoarse as if talking to himself. Damn it, won't listen to advice, huh? I don't mind helping you clear your mind. I regretted it, Ethan. I shouted loudly, my heart rate instantly spiking. I desperately grabbed the steering wheel that Ethan had suddenly jerked to the side. The car still quickly crashed through the wooden fence by the roadside and rushed into the rice field. It might have been just a second, the car flew over a small slope. Splash. Muddy water splashed everywhere, covering the sports car and my face. The man beside me laughed heartily without caring about his image. How about it, Ivy? Now your mind is blank, isn't it? To be honest, in terms of intensity, it wasn't even half as thrilling as a pirate ship. But at that moment, I only thought of dying in a car crash. With trembling hands, I angrily picked up the soaked documents and threw them in Ethan's face. Hey, don't be angry. Are you crazy? Ethan was covered in mud, no longer the lazy and casual person he was before. Instead, he seemed a bit guilty. He muttered softly, who told you to say you're full of thoughts about that man? I can't stand it. Do you know what that trash Ryan did? I was confused. What does this have to do with Ryan? How not? You never cared to interact with me, and now that I just moved against his company, you come running eagerly, and just now you were still arguing. Dare you say you didn't? Even if Ryan cheated, I can't just watch Taishin lose money, I have shares in it too. Besides, I just decided to take it over, and then I found you causing trouble. Who else should I look for but you? Feeling both wronged and angry, without waiting for his reply, I climbed out of the car and left. Ethan was stunned for several seconds. Hey, no, wait for me. I walked out, stepping into mud puddles one by one, completely ignoring Ethan chasing after me. In my heart, I calculated that since he was determined to mess with Taishin, there was no need to waste time with him. Just as I exited the rice field, an old man blocked my way, speaking in a dialect. He came aggressively, and in his mumbling, I probably heard the words pay money. Today was very undignified. I had no mind to argue and just wanted to leave quickly. But after pressing the phone's power button hard twice and finding it unresponsive, I glared resentfully at Ethan. He shrugged innocently, your phone isn't waterproof? You know, I went downstairs to throw out the trash, where would I bring my phone? Angry and dizzy-headed, I raised my hand and touched the necklace on my neck, only then realizing I had forgotten to take it off in the busyness of the past 2 days. Old man, can I give you this necklace as compensation? But the old man babbled, and Ethan timely explained for me. He says he doesn't recognize this, he wants cash. I rummaged through my bag again and even handed my wallet to the old man. Unexpectedly, he waved his hands repeatedly. I frowned and looked at Ethan. He says it's not enough, this is a scientific research rice field worth millions. My eyes widened in shock. I even forgot that I shouldn't be the one paying. I directly argued with the old man in the field in the simplest way, faces red with anger. 10 minutes later, the old man was convinced and stopped talking. I let out a long sigh of relief. It felt great. It was as if I had vented all the resentment of the past 10+ days. But Ethan's expression changed, and he grabbed me and started running. What are you doing? Let go. I struggled. But he still kept pulling me to run, even hooked his long arm around me and pulled me into his embrace. Didn't you see that old man called for backup? Tough lands breed tough folks, be careful they might eat you without spitting out the bones. I turned my head and indeed saw many villagers closing in. My heart was pounding, but I stayed defiant. At worst, I'll call the police. With what? Do you have telepathy with the cops? My phone was broken. Until we ran past a corner, Ethan stopped for a moment. He shouted back, "Folks, stop chasing, I'll give you that Ferrari in the field as compensation." The sunset on the horizon glowed red. I broke free from Ethan's hand and plopped down on a roadside rock. I'm not moving another inch. Not even if the heavens themselves came today, I'm not going. The summer breeze carried a cool relief. I tilted my head back and let out a long sigh. Ethan stopped too, bending over with his hands on his knees. I opened my eyes and met his gaze, staring straight into his curious scrutiny. Sweat-dampened strands of hair brushed against his bright eyes. I had to admit Ethan had a very handsome face. Long eyelashes, rosy lips, sharp features. The heat made him flushed and pale, looking vulnerable and easy to tease. Not like the feared Mr. Walker in business circles, but more like a college boy who hadn't graduated. At a distance of 2 fists, Ethan's Adam's apple bobbed, and I frowned, turning my head away uncomfortably. Suddenly, I had the illusion that Ethan became more approachable. He turned and crouched. "Hop on, I'll carry you." "Where exactly are we going?" "I have a place up ahead. We'll rest there tonight." "You just happen to have a place here?" "Remembered I bought one a few years ago while passing through." "Problem?" I twitched my mouth. So, even rich people don't always understand the rich world. Who would buy a house in a place with no commercial value? I nudged him. "Get up, I'll walk on my own after sitting a bit." But Ethan grabbed my hand instead. My legs were still weak, and I lost my balance, falling onto his back. Ethan had a broad back, and under his shirt, I felt his muscles. As he exerted himself, a surge of masculine scent rushed from my thighs to my belly. My face flushed uncontrollably, and I squirmed uneasily. "Don't move," Ethan's voice lowered slightly. "I want to get home before dark." The moon rose, revealing a cozy, peaceful little courtyard. The wooden door creaked open, and I saw cucumbers under the trellis, with budding peach flowers. All the noise faded away, and I reversed my earlier thought, who wouldn't want to buy a place like this to live in seclusion? That night, a light drizzle started. Suddenly, the bathroom light went out. Sigh, I shouldn't have rushed to shower first, I thought bitterly. In panic, I slipped and fell. Ethan quickly knocked on the door and explained, "Hey, are you okay? The wiring's old, it shorts out whenever it rains." I listened quietly without answering. "Hey. Did you fall? Say something. If you don't speak, I'm coming in." With a bang, the door was forced open from outside. Then, I saw Ethan closing his eyes, fumbling to wrap a towel around me. He picked me up and placed me back in the bed in the bedroom. Under the weight of heavy emotions, I was too weak to respond to Ethan's questioning gaze. But he didn't ask anything. "Rest well, I'll be right outside," Ethan said as he left the room. I closed my eyes and buried my head under the covers. In my dream, I was back to when I was 20, facing a plagiarism scandal. Countless unfamiliar faces twisted in malice, overwhelming and pervasive. They doxed all my accounts, calling me a bitch and a plagiarist. They even took screenshots of my parents, saying I was born but not raised properly, and that my whole family deserved to die. My roommates threw rotten fruit on my bed, and my advisor subtly urged me to drop out. Faced with endless baseless accusations and countless mocking whispers from passers-by, I eventually hid in a rental room costing $399 a month. During those dark, cold days, all I remember is the rain falling incessantly. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. During manic phases, I couldn't sleep for days on end. During depressive phases, I couldn't even get out of bed to wash up. Until Ryan appeared, his unwavering trust and support needed no reason. Like a beam of light forcibly illuminating my dark rental room, he soothed my grievances and illness. He diverted aggressive online trolls for me. Soon after, an official announcement cleared me of all accusations. But no one apologized. The whole internet was filled with another batch of justice warriors fighting for me. Those who had cursed me vanished without a trace. My roommates still hated me, even more so, because I had exposed their stupidity and malice. In the years before I became Ivy, they never spoke to me. Fortunately, I no longer cared. Later, my illness gradually improved, and everyone thought it was all in the past. But only I knew that since then, I could no longer bear to be alone in the darkness on rainy days. The next morning, I pushed open the door and saw signs that someone had slept on the couch. "You're awake, come eat," he said. With a sense of guilt, I explained a few things to Ethan. He wasn't surprised nor did he offer comfort, he just asked calmly, "Have you ever heard a saying?" "What?" I was stunned. "Kind people feel guilty even when they're hurt." Am I kind? No one had called me kind in a long time. Recently, even those close to me thought I was cold-hearted. I avoided his direct gaze. Like someone who's worn armor for too long, suddenly having their pink flesh seen instead of black, feeling awkward and ashamed. He shifted his tone casually. "But I really didn't expect that the industry rumor about Ivy being a vindictive tigress was unfounded." Here we go again. I elegantly put down my chopsticks and said to him sincerely, "Ethan, thank you for your care, but since we can't reach a consensus on the collaboration, I won't trouble you any longer today." Ethan stood up abruptly. "My car is gone, I can't drive you back today." "It's fine. I remember there's a highway 10 miles away with many passing cars." Your wallet was lost yesterday, and your phone is broken. How will you pay?" Expressionless, I walked around Ethan, who was blocking my way, and headed for the door. I believe there are still many kind-hearted people in this world. "No, you." Ethan called out urgently, "I've decided not to withdraw the investment from Taishin, and other collaborations will continue as well." I stopped abruptly and turned around. Ethan withdrew his outstretched hand, visibly showing a smug expression of as expected. I asked, puzzled, "But didn't you before?" He sat down reservedly and nodded, "Yes, but my beloved car is still in the hands of bandits, and it's a limited edition worldwide. This morning, the old man said if I replant the rice seedlings, he'll return the car to me. If you're willing to stay and help me, I'll promise not to target Taishin anymore. How about that?" You'd never imagine that a female CEO worth billions, a city beauty who deals with millions every minute, is now racking her brains over a rice seedling. The seedlings need to be checked for height and size, and the planting distance must be appropriate. "Little girl, come up and rest for a while. A country where divorce is impossible, cursing us to love each other forever." When I mentioned it before, Ryan was surprised by my strange idea. But he solemnly agreed, even taking it more seriously than I did, saying he loved the meaning. Yet, this eternal love, he ultimately compensated someone else with it. A fake wedding, vows turning to lies, self-deception, they won't last. I snapped back to reality as Ethan leaned in from beside me to comment. I chuckled lightly, that might not be true. For Ryan to take such a big risk before marriage, maybe they're really in love? Ha, that's because one's a jerk and the other's stupid, both trashy. Why are you looking at me? Did I say something wrong? I'm saying instead of getting upset over a cheating man, why not look at what's right in front of you? Ethan's voice was a bit low. In front? What's in front? His gaze drifted away. Right in front, it's just peach blossoms. I mean the peach tree, see? This year's blossoms are out. Hearing this, I looked up. Moonlight poured down, covering the tree in full bloom. I don't know why, probably because Ethan was acting unnatural, it made my heart skip a beat instantly. To hide it, I grabbed the tea by my side and gulped it down. Ah. That's hot. Why drink it so fast? The light was dim as Ethan frowned, checking the burn in my mouth. I didn't know it was hot water. Still arguing? Tilt your head up higher. I strained to lift my head, letting Ethan grip my jaw. He pinched an ice cube with his longest fingers and gently pressed it against my tongue. To keep it from being too cold, he thoughtfully lifted it away. The ice melted, and I swallowed with difficulty. Tears welled up uncontrollably at the corners of my eyes, and the drool at my mouth was wiped away carelessly by his thumb. I couldn't resist tugging at his shirt, my eyes asking if it wasn't over yet. Ethan looked at me darkly for a moment, almost. His thumb stroked my gums and soft flesh. He asked, "What about here? Does it hurt too?" I shook my head, crying, my breathing growing more labored. "Time for medicine, I need to get closer to see." I nodded, not noticing the hoarseness in his voice. Again, it was his thumb, applying cool medicine to my tongue while his hot breath brushed my face. The moment Ethan withdrew his hand, I nearly bolted away. After a while, Ethan knocked on the door. "Got the car back. We're going to the hospital tomorrow morning." I curled up under the covers, angrily choosing to ignore him. Ryan kept his word and didn't contact me again. Until the second night after Ethan and I returned to the city. Out of nowhere, he called me many times, but I didn't answer. During the day, he had sent a video of himself and Sophie passionately kissing amid neon lights and revelry. Along with photos from the hotel, shameful, wild, and chaotic scenes. Over and over, in a dazed whisper, "Baby, I love you." The sight made me physically nauseous, but I had no time to dwell on it. I was heading back to my grandma's place. Her condition had suddenly worsened, and it was critical. I never expected to run into Sophie and Ryan at the airport. They were holding hands, bodies pressed close together. Why were they back? I tried to avoid them, but Ryan suddenly turned around, and our eyes locked. In an instant, his expression changed drastically, and he jerked his hand away from Sophie's as if shocked. At the same time, Sophie saw me, her gaze instantly filled with intense hatred. Ryan rushed over, flustered and uneasy, explaining, "Sophie and I just happened to run into each other. I was only helping her up a moment ago." I smiled and nodded, appearing to fully believe his story, completely unlike the Ivy who used to be bothered by Sophie before he left. This realization made Ryan pause slightly, at a loss. He defined this feeling as irritation toward me, losing his pleasant expression in an instant. "You're overthinking again. Ivy, have some water." Two male voices spoke at once. When Ethan suddenly called me Ivy, the expressions of everyone present turned strange. I was startled too but quickly adjusted. The hospital call came while I was discussing a collaboration with Ethan, and then he insisted on accompanying me back. Ryan's expression darkened considerably. He forced a smile, wrapping an arm around my waist. "Ethan, when did you get so close to my fiancé? Where are you two heading together?" My expression remained unchanged, but Sophie looked furious. "Ivy and I," Ethan said flippantly, completely dismissive of Ryan. "We're not really connected, we just happened to meet." Hey, Ryan, why that look? Think it's unbelievable and won't buy it? His tone dripped with sarcasm, just as Ryan's composure cracked. I chuckled lightly, brushing Ryan's hand away and subtly creating distance. Ethan and I really did just bump into each other, it's all work-related. What about you? Didn't you say you couldn't return until before the wedding? Is your work over there done? Seeing my gentle attitude and explanation that there was nothing between Ethan and me, Ryan relaxed a bit. A look of hurt crossed his face as he pulled me close and whispered, "Not yet, it won't be fully wrapped up until before the wedding. You haven't messaged me at all these past 2 weeks, I've missed you." I kept smiling as I listened to his nonsense, pretending not to see the hickey on his neck. So filthy. Wife. Are you listening? What? I snapped back to attention. I said I came back unexpectedly because my people told me someone is targeting Taishin. My heart skipped a beat, but I feigned innocence. What? Who told you? Could it be fake news? No, I have a few trusted people under me, but it's a big deal, they want to meet in person. Do you know who it is? I scrutinized him, wondering if Ryan was testing me. Something this major, I have no idea. He sounded disappointed. Seriously, you could at least help keep an eye out. But I suspect it's Ethan behind it. Wife, don't get so close to him, I don't like him. The boarding announcement sounded, and I dropped my gentle, obedient act. Don't overthink it. Ethan and I are purely work-related, and besides, didn't you always complain before that I wasn't friendly with him and didn't know how to play the game? I dodged Ryan's outstretched hand. All right, enough talk. He and I are heading out now. I walked toward Ethan in the distance. He tilted his head, scanning Ryan from head to toe before swaggering behind me. I knew leaving now meant Ryan would face those people back at the company, a storm was brewing. But in front of Grandma, none of this had ever been negotiable. What I didn't expect was Ryan and Sophie buying tickets and following us. Mr. Walker, swap seats with me. I want to sit next to my fiancé, Ryan emphasized fiancé sharply. Apologies, but I follow airport rules, no swapping, I replied, shooting Ethan a sidelong glance. Rules? Since when does he care about rules? Ryan clenched his jaw, refusing to move while Sophie tugged his sleeve anxiously. As she passed, she deliberately shoved me. With takeoff approaching, unease prickled my skin. Ah. My ring's gone. Sophie shrieked, then glared at me venomously, as if I'd stolen it. Miss Brown, that ring is worth millions. Have you seen it? I scoffed. Are you implying I took it? Sophie adopted a pitiful, trembling look. I'm not accusing you. But it was here before boarding. I know you dislike me. There are many ways to get back at me, but that ring is irreplaceable. Please return it. Passengers grew restless, eager to depart and now eyeing me suspiciously. A man snapped, dressed to the nines but stealing? Shameful. He shouted, everyone guard your bags, there's a thief on board. Ignoring him, I fixed Sophie with a steely gaze. Know this, I could sue you for defamation. Miss Brown, no need to threaten me. Others didn't know about the ring's value, she paused, eyes glinting coldly, but you did. True, she'd sent me a private message flaunting it. It's from someone special. Soon, it might be all I have left to remember them. Please, return it. Yikes. So it's a gift from a dying man? Bad omen, Ethan muttered under his breath. I coughed, Ryan's expression darkened. Ivy, give the ring back to Sophie. After Sophie's performance, he was fully invested. Insane. I said I don't have it. Ivy. Want a ring? I'll buy you one. Now, give it back. He'd swallowed her lies whole. Calling the police will humiliate everyone, Ryan lowered his voice. I know you're jealous of her. I'll explain later. Just return it now. Sophie sniffled. If she won't admit it. Searching her should settle this. Search me? Add violation of personal rights to your lawsuit, I retorted. I'm sorry, Mr. Miller. She cowered behind Ryan, who instantly shielded her. Ivy. You've disappointed me deeply. Ryan snarled. If she can't search you, I will. He lunged for me, but Ethan seized his wrist from behind. Tension crackled. Ivy, Ryan said bitterly, I thought you'd have reflected these past days. After all I was thinking, the ring's been found. While Sophie had been causing chaos, flight attendants had quietly scoured the cabin. A young stewardess now pushed through excitedly. Miss, your ring was under your seat the whole time. The sudden awkwardness hung in the air. Sophie Clark froze, Ryan looked lost. Only I remained, pulling her aside to say thank you. 15 minutes earlier, I'd instinctively thought Sophie had bumped into me to steal something, and then I'd accidentally discovered that ring. A very crude trick, so I tossed it back to her. I was sure it wouldn't delay takeoff and wanted to see exactly what kind of show she was trying to put on. Ivy, I'm sorry, Ryan yanked Sophie over and snapped, apologize. There was no way Sophie would willingly back down, she clearly remembered throwing it into my bag. No. This definitely isn't my ring. She must have conspired with that flight attendant to fake it. Ryan, believe me. I can call the police to prove my innocence. Don't call the police. I cut in. Involving the police would absolutely delay the flight. My grandmother didn't have that kind of time to wait for me. Seeing my reluctance to involve the authorities, Sophie visibly perked up. See, Ryan? She's scared. I wasn't lying. Ryan, you promised you wouldn't let me be wronged. Sophie. Ryan cut her off rapidly, clearly afraid she'd say more. He hesitated, looking at me. Ivy, there might be a misunderstanding. If you didn't take it, calling the police would clear your name too. I stared coldly at Ryan, nothing left but disappointment. Ryan, do you even realize this is a flight to see Grandma? She's in critical danger. Ryan faltered, his expression conflicted. Sophie burst into tears regardless. But, Grandma always. I mean, she always pulls through. It wouldn't take too long, Ivy. My heart felt like it had been sliced open. Ryan had forgotten. The year we started our business, Grandma invested her money and effort, treated him so well. He'd forgotten all of it. Someday, he'd treat me the same way. At his core, he was a selfish, ungrateful asshole. I swallowed the pain. Grandma is waiting for me. If I'm late, I won't have a grandmother anymore. The man who had retreated to a corner once the ring was found stood up. Maybe you should stop arguing? I'm usually a good Samaritan. I already called them. He seemed to understand the situation and stopped talking, but his good intentions had clearly backfired. Ryan breathed a sigh of relief. That's great, Ivy. Now we can get back quickly to see Grandma. I'll go with you. It was the first time since boarding that I felt genuine panic. Let's go. A warm, strong hand grasped mine and pulled me away. Ryan reached for me but had to deal with the sobbing Sophie behind him. Ethan. Where are you taking my fiancé? Ethan turned back with fierce intensity, a mocking smile on his lips. Your fiancé? You mean the one you've been protecting? Isn't she right behind you? Getting tangled up with the police will take ages. We're leaving now. I knew that, but there's no other way. The next flight isn't until tonight. I couldn't bear the thought of missing seeing Grandma because of this mess. Dazed, I let Ethan lead me, and before I knew it, he swept me up into his arms. Ethan held me tightly. I didn't know where he was taking me. But that warm embrace was the final straw. I buried my face and cried. I heard his soothing voice. Cry. I've got you. You've had a rough time, Ivy. It's okay. I'll help you. Only when we reached the rooftop did I finally grasp what was happening. Why are we here? I need to check if I can get a different flight. Ethan didn't put me down. His gaze was impossibly gentle. Don't move. Look up. A massive roar filled the air overhead. A hurricane-force wind whipped my hair around. Just in case, I contacted a helicopter while we were still on the plane and applied for flight clearance. How about that? Am I of some use? He looked somewhat proud. How could it be just a little useful? The wealthy Ethan, the strategic Ethan. At this moment, he was more like a little dog seeking praise, wagging its tail. Let's go back to see Grandma. That night, the doctor said Grandma's condition had become serious. If she couldn't wake up within a day, then. That was the most frightening night for me. I stayed by her bedside all night. Fortunately, a miracle really happened. But after Grandma woke up, her memory seemed much worse. She actually mistook Ethan for Ryan. Holding our hands, she said, after marriage, have a great-grandchild for Grandma soon, okay, Ivy? My face flushed red, but Ethan had the leisure to tease me, imitating Grandma, okay, Ivy? I unceremoniously hid his grinning face. He pouted, so when are the two of us going to have one? Countdown day 13. Grandma's condition stabilized, so I decided to go back and handle the company matters. I didn't expect to see Ryan at home. Only a small light was on in the living room, and I couldn't see his expression. I lowered my head to change my shoes and calmly asked, "How come you're back?" "Grandma changed hospitals, why didn't you tell me?" I was stunned, then continued hanging up my coat. Ryan suddenly swept the things off the table, furious. "I'm asking you, where have you been with Ethan these past 2 days? What have you been doing? Why didn't you answer my calls?" I turned and calmly stared at him. "I told you." Seeing his confusion, I kindly explained. 5 months ago, I wanted to move Grandma to a private hospital. That day, you said you encountered a difficult client and couldn't get away, so you told me to decide myself. But in reality, it was Sophie who had offended the shareholders, and he was busy covering for her. 3 months ago, during that time, Grandma really wanted to see you, but unfortunately, you were abroad on a business trip. And the truth was, he was abroad, busy giving Sophie an unforgettable birthday. Ryan probably recalled these things too. His angry expression turned to guilt. And what I thought of was how he disregarded consequences for her, spent lavishly on her, and hurt me without remorse. And a month and a half ago, I compiled the wedding arrangements into a zip file and sent it to you. It also had Grandma's address in it. But obviously, the file had expired, and he hadn't opened it. Ivy. But it's all right, Ryan, I smiled and sidestepped him. I'm very tired today, let's rest first, okay? He followed closely into the bedroom, but I stopped him again. With a distant smile, I said, I know you've been busy lately, and so have I. For our better rest, let's sleep in separate rooms before the wedding. Ryan looked somewhat bewildered, but I don't want to sleep separately. Because of his immaturity, my expression turned cold. Ryan hung his head as if he couldn't bear it. Ivy, I've been waiting for you at home these past few days, but you've been with Ethan, and now you want us to sleep separately. What am I supposed to think? Why? You used to dislike him, why have you changed now? Ryan, don't be so paranoid, look at how aggressive you're being. You were away on a business trip, Ethan helped me solve company difficulties, took me to see Grandma, do you expect me to be ungrateful? Ryan, oh Ryan, you have to know, it was you who created the opportunity and pushed me toward him. Time froze. After a long while, he asked Ivy, will we get married? The same question, but from a different person this time. I smiled, what are you overthinking? Yet I never gave him the answer he craved. All right, didn't you say work needs finishing before the wedding? Go rest, you'll be busy again tomorrow. Ryan, I won't go if you don't want me to. I said lightly, as if joking, why wouldn't I want you to go? It's just work, not like I'm sending you off to cheat. Ryan's face went deathly pale, and he frantically pulled me into a tight embrace. No, Ivy, I haven't cheated. I've been working. His voice was too loud, trying to calm his own panic. I nodded and told him to leave again. Watching his desolate retreating figure, I suddenly called out to him. Meeting his lost eyes, I spoke softly, if you're not too busy. Could you check on our wedding preparations again? A spark ignited in Ryan's eyes, glistening like tears. I deliberately grew close to Ethan in front of Ryan, to buy time. Ryan never met those informants. And soothing him? That was just to keep him occupied with meaningless things. Like that 1-month promise. Or our wedding. Ryan returned to Sophie's side like it was some obligation, but his real time was spent preparing our wedding. 9 days left, the floral arrangements changed to my favorite blooms, ones previously vetoed for being impractical. But fate intervened, a lightning strike burned them all. 7 days left, Ryan painstakingly crafted a romantic photo album of our memories. I distractedly told him to focus on meaningful things. 5 days left, Vi's beloved returned to me. I immediately donated it to charity. 3 days left, I prepared the contract, needing only Ryan's meaningless signature. He waited alone at the rehearsal site for a wedding with no bride. 1 day left, for the first time, I texted Ryan first, wedding's off. We're done. That day, Ryan called endlessly, flooded my messages. I ignored them. Maybe he understood. His messages became careful, deliberate, layered with timid pleas. Leo's texts came too, Ivy, I know I've no right to ask. And that Ryan messed up badly. But I also know he regrets it, he truly loves you. I'm partly to blame. I pried his secret from you for my own sake. As his friend, I failed him. I can't watch him keep torturing himself. He's cut all ties with Sophie. Please give him a chance. Yesterday at rehearsal, he waited from dawn till dark. His blood sugar crashed, face ghost white, but he refused to leave. He was terrified he'd miss you if you came. Said he'd missed too many chances already, he couldn't walk away this time. We're at that old bar. Ryan's drunk too much, won't leave. Keeps calling your name, saying you're not coming, you won't marry him. Ivy. Please. Come get him? I answered Leo's call. He sounded shocked, hopeful. Ivy? Are you coming? Ryan's right here, you. Ryan snatched the phone. Slurred, muffled sob. Ivy. It's too late. Don't come. I can get home myself. Of course I'm not coming. I cut him off. Stop calling. It's annoying. I hung up before he could reply. But I went to the bar anyway. Passing a private booth, I froze. Inside, Ryan, head bowed. Sophie kneeling before him. Sophie, he rasped, I told you. Yesterday was the end. No more contact. Sophie's voice trembled, expertly fragile. Ryan. You know I want nothing from you. I just want to be here for you. A harsh, grating laugh. Pathetic. Get out. Or I take back everything you have. Why? After how Ivy treated you? Only I truly ack. Ryan's hand locked around Sophie's throat. Mention Ivy again, he hissed, venomous, or let her find out about us. I'll make you regret being born. Near suffocation stripped away Sophie's illusions. She gasped, seeing his utter ruthlessness. You're so smart. Yet you won't admit she knows. And still dream she'll marry you. The confrontation was vicious, chilling. Unthinkable that a month ago, they'd been tearful, reluctant lovers saying goodbye. My phone rang. Ethan. I answered instinctively. Ivy. I feel awful. I snapped back to the present. Didn't linger. Walked away. After hanging up Ryan's call, I received a desperate call from Ethan. He had been caught off guard during a business deal and, in his dazed state, ended up calling me. Ethan, open the door, it's me. Suddenly, the door swung open, and I was pulled inside by a strong hand. Scorching heat brushed against my neck as I was pinned in a cramped corner, unable to struggle. My hands were restrained, forced to listen to the hoarse, seductive repetition of my name. Ethan, you, stop kissing me, I'll take you to the hospital. Ivy, I'm so hot, help me. The man's kisses trailed up my neck, lingering dangerously at the corner of my mouth. Ivy, are you invading my dreams again? Can you go easier with the whip this time? Tonight, I'm your little dog too, Ivy. Please, sister, be gentle with me. I was utterly shocked. What nonsense was he spouting? I turned my head to avoid his lips. Snap out of it, this isn't a dream. He seemed to regain clarity for a moment. Not a dream? So is this a dream come true? Desire flared wildly in his eyes as he fiercely captured my lips, grinding against them. Ivy, you're so blind, only liking that fool who can't see. Can't you tell I like you? You always avoid me. He gripped my chin, forcing me to look at him. You torment me every night, turning me into trash, just wanting to be your dirty little secret. But you won't even give me that chance. You're too cruel, sister. My disbelief made me forget to struggle. Ethan had some masochistic tendencies. I fought him over things, and he ended up wanting me. I felt like if I slapped him now, he'd just say it felt amazing with reddened eyes. But I'm so obedient, I listen to you, sister. So reward me, okay? Just use your feet, please. Bang. A sudden knock sounded outside. Ivy, are you in there? It was Ryan. Panicked, I tried to leave but was tangled up by Ethan, unable to move. Ethan, this isn't right, I don't want this. I had to admit there was some hypocrisy in me, but I couldn't bear the thought of Ryan hearing this outside. The phone was ringing too, so I pushed him against the wall to escape. He slumped down weakly, filled with disappointment. Go, I'll be fine alone. I won't let him find out. The person outside grew more frantic. Ivy, come out. How could you betray me? My steps halted, and I answered the call. I'm at home, just go. The lie was full of holes, so Ryan stayed silent for a long time. Ivy, come back with me, please. Ryan, I'm not stupid, and neither are you. I was wrong, but all I've ever wanted is to marry you. You know? Before that night I asked if you could stay, I already knew everything. If you have any sense left, go back to the company now. I'm harder to deal with than you think. I know it all, he sounded aged. But Ivy, tomorrow is our wedding. Get some rest early, don't be late. Footsteps faded outside, and hands wrapped around me from behind. I looked down. You promised, just your feet. I slept until noon and heard Ryan ignored advice and forced his friends to attend the wedding. News of me canceling the wedding had spread everywhere since the confrontation, but he played deaf. Oh, and there was another one. Sophie barged into the venue in a wedding dress. She made a big show, telling Ryan's relatives and friends she was pregnant and marrying him. Naturally, I helped her, spreading their scandalous, romantic story far and wide. Ryan's father flew into a rage and ended up in the hospital. To save face, he forced Ryan to marry the pregnant Sophie. Great, he finally didn't have to feel guilty toward her and could be with her forever. Sophie was also happy. Marrying Ryan meant she would possess endless wealth from then on. But she didn't know that a life of poverty abroad was calling her. Because I couldn't possibly leave Ryan in the country, a wise CEO would eliminate any potential threats. I knew he didn't want to. He threw a tantrum at home, constantly pulling strings to try to meet with me. Unfortunately, he no longer had the right to freedom. But he could still start from scratch abroad. It would just be a bit harder. As long as he obeyed and stayed abroad, I wouldn't deliberately suppress him. After all, I am a kind CEO. Later, I heard about their affairs at my wedding with Ethan. An employee who had been fired by Ryan started a company and narrated it indignantly. Sophie couldn't bear the hardship and cheated with a nouveau riche, but his wife shot and blinded her in one eye. And Ryan became homeless, without money to save her. But there was still a little, yet Ryan would rather take a stab from Sophie than give it to her. It seemed like he was saving money. Almost 10 years later, he had spent all his money but still wanted to return to the country. Who is in the country that he can't let go of? I smiled. I don't know either.